Okay, now we're recording again. Take 2.
Take 50 million and 2. Okay. Let me try not to sit on this thing. Welcome to episode 11 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm River.
And I'm Wren.
And today we are going to talk about auras. But before we get to that, what are you drinking?
I am having a Diet Coke.
Woohoo! Yeah, she's at my house again, so
Yes.
she has to drive, so she can't do anything fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not drinking a cocktail. I'm drinking my, it's a different brand of Brut Rosé wine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing exciting. I think for this weekend, which is Letha is on Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
I think that maybe we will make some lemon cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is it's Father's Day too, so we got to figure out whether we can get together ourselves too.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
But if so, Wren makes a mean lemonade, so I thought we might could do some lemonade cocktails of some kind.
Yes, that's exciting. I love a good lemonade, especially
This time of year.
especially this time of year, but especially natural lemonade, not the store-bought, homemade lemonade
Homemade.
is the best lemonade, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
We had, when we went on our little trip last week with our hubbies, she bought a whole thing of lemons to make lemonade, and we never did. So we've got all those leftover lemons to have some Letha lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
So we like to talk a little bit about what Letha is and all of that. So it is a pagan holiday. It's one of the 8 Sabbats during the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's also known as midsummer.
Yes.
It occurs on the summer solstice,
Mm-hmm.
and it celebrates the beginning of summer. It is the longest day of the year, and in some traditions, Letha is when the battle shifts between light and dark. You know, this is the longest day, and after this day, night takes over, and the days become shorter and shorter and shorter until Yule. And the winter solstice. So for modern day witches, Letha can be a day of inner power and brightness. Some people like to find a quiet spot and meditate about the light and the dark forces in the world. Other people like to celebrate outside, and it is a fire Sabbath, so they might celebrate with fire, have a bonfire in the backyard, barbecue.
Mm-hmm. I know that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. It is also supposed to be a good time to practice love magic or to get married, which the pagans, a lot of pagans celebrate weddings by hand fasting, which is cool, I think.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different things you can do to celebrate Letha. You can call down the sun, which is kind of like calling down the moon, but you do it with the sun. I'm going to do a TikTok video on how to do that. You basically use a mirror and you take it out in the morning sun, and I'll do a TikTok on it.
Yeah, I love to see that.
You can watch the sun rise. You can bake sun bread. You can decorate your altar, have a bonfire, have a garden party, make a sun catcher. I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Meditate, charge your crystals, make a bee water station.
Aw, that's cute.
I know, I love that idea.
And I know specifically for you because you love the bees.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing against bees, but the carpenter bees are the ones that River really enjoy.
Yes.
She calls them her familiars. And
Yes.
we'll do an episode on familiars later. But they just annoy the crap out of me. They just bonk into you and hit your... I was at River's house where there's a whole ton of carpenter bees, and they'll just run into your face. Bounce off your face and then hover in front of you as if it was your fault.
No, they're talking to you.
Oh. So
it's so funny because I have I like to do witchy pictures and stuff and part for our podcast and that kind of thing. And so I'll come outside and I'll be taking pictures and they'll come and hover and watch me. And if it's a witchy thing, like when I'm charging my crystals, they'll come and look at my crystals and they just look at me. I mean, we communicate. They are my familiars.
Yeah, they're not mine. So I will never truly understand you and your connection with the bees. But I feel like you would have a bee water station for sure.
I'm going to look into how to do that and maybe make one for my bees. Gather herbs or play in your garden. We've got a garden going in our backyard. You live in an apartment, so your garden's a lot smaller than my garden. But I've got squash coming in and green beans, which might be ready to pick by Letha.
Oh.
Yeah, I might be able to make a batch of green beans. And of course, you and your husband are invited as well.
As long as, and I know that this will show you the type of food I grew up with. Green bean casserole.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. At least I think it's a good thing. I know there's some people out there that are like, ooh, green bean casserole. But green bean casserole, I was raised on green bean casserole. It was the best, and it's always the best with fresh green beans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love garden vegetables. I love fresh garden corn, green beans, squash. I love the summer because that's when you get to actually harvest all that stuff that you make in your own garden.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you had some Letha stuff.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I also have some Letha stuff. I just have. I'll post this picture and the link where I got this picture from because the website I got it from is from a Green Witch. And she does a really good job talking about Letha and her website. But I'm just going to focus on the picture that she had posted because she has categories of things that go with Letha. So she has deities that go with Letha.
Okay.
Or they. I don't know if it's a she or he. So they have deities that go with Letha, which is Apollo, Juno. Sorry, my chair's squeaking.
It is. We're out on the deck.
Sulis, Minerva, Sunna, 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 Hestia, and Ain, Aine. Ain.
Some of those I recognize.
And then some symbols for Letha are sunfire and discs.
Discs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I never knew that. And then the herbs that go with Letha, and I would have my book on me, but I don't have my book on me that goes into depth about like the herbs and everything. But it's mugwort, vervain, yarrow, rose, and chamomile. And I know we talked briefly about each of the sabbats in one of our previous episodes.
Yes.
But this is just like we're delving a little bit deeper into it.
Yes.
So I might have already said what the herbs were earlier. Trees that go with Letha are oak and elder.
Nice.
Which are really nice. And then gemstones are emerald and sunstone.
That makes sense.
And then incense that is used during Letha are lemon, pine, rose, sandalwood.
I love sandalwood.
And then the colors that are associated with Letha are yellow, orange, red, and green.
Which also makes sense. And I love that lemon is in there because you're such a lemon person.
I love lemons, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, now let's get into auras.
Okay.
So our aura is real. And a lot of people would say no. A lot of people would say yes. I say yes because auras are basically an energy or vibes that we put off, you know? And it's unclear whether that energy can truly be thought of as like a manifestation of the spiritual and physical body, which I think is very interesting to think about.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I'm a very color-oriented person, and so color affects everything in my life. And, you know, auras are usually connotated with color, having a color.
Yeah.
And I feel like the color of your aura is a manifestation of your spiritual self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like auras are sort of, like I said, like the energy that you put out. But some people's energies don't go together. So one way to think about auras is the energy someone around you emits. So some people make you nervous, others relax you. So in some ways you can see or feel the energy that they radiate, so you can kind of feel that person's aura.
Yeah, I love that concept. We have all felt those feelings
Yes.
around certain people.
Yes.
You know, creepy feelings, happy feelings. You know, there's those people that you meet and you just really want to get closer to them. I love the idea that those vibes or feelings are their aura. That's cool.
Yeah. And so what exactly are auras? And so I have a quote, and it goes, as human beings, we radiate a low level of electricity. Ooh, sorry. That's otherwise known as like the electromagnetic field.
Yes.
And this is from Christina Lonsdale, which she is an artist behind popular aura photography called Radiant Human.
Oh, cool.
And her work is really cool. You should go check it out. And if I can figure out how to, I'll put a link. I have the whole link of the website and everything that I used, so it should be in there if you're interested. But her work was so cool because you could see what she saw or how she envisioned everybody's aura. It was just really cool.
Very cool.
And then ancient medicinal systems believe that the energy is expressed in 7 layers. So each layer is said to correlate to a different element of your physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional health.
You know, we just did last week the chakras, which
Yes.
there are 7 energy fields. I wonder if the chakras are related to your aura.
I feel like it could be, because it's no coincidence that there's 7 layers to an aura, 7 layers in your chakra, 7 chakra layers. It all does with the body. So I feel like it's all related somehow. So my question is are auras and chakras similar to almost the same thing?
Although I've envisioned chakras as inside your body, the energy field inside your body, and I think of auras as the energy field outside your body. But I think that they're related.
Yeah. Yeah, because your aura is seen as something that surrounds your physical body. And each layer and everything that surrounds your body, it goes with, if it's more towards your head or more towards your middle of your body. I think of auras as color dense in areas that are important in that moment and feeling of the energies that you are producing at that time. So if you're more focused at some time on your education and your mental being, I feel like your aura is more color dense towards your head than it is anything else.
Interesting.
That's just how I see auras. But based on the information that I'm going to talk about today, it's more of an overall body encompassing.
Yeah, that's how I've always thought it. But I've never thought of them as having layers before.
Yeah.
I've always kind of pictured it as this misty, well, not wet, fog. Well, fog's wet too. This misty thing around a person's body. Jesus, now I'm thinking about Charlie Brown and Pigpen with his little dirt bubble.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's kind of fuzzy. You know, when you go on Photoshop or some sort of editing tool and you have that tool that's brushy, fuzzy.
Yeah.
That is how I see it, but maybe a little bit faded than opaque
it's
colors.
not, it's foggy, but it's not wet fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now our aura is the same thing as vibes. Okay. And I would say kind of. Vibes are short for vibrational frequencies, which is an aura that is what an aura is comprised of. And that is also what Lonsdale says from before.
I never knew that the word vibe came from a scientific term, vibrational frequency. I just have always called it vibe. I had no idea that it was a scientific word.
It makes sense. And I did know that because I grew up in a very science-dominated family. So I am a freak for anything science. And I can say that I did know that vibes were short for vibrational frequency. And I say vibes a lot, but it makes sense when you say, oh, I vibe with that, because your body, your energy literally vibes with whatever you're feeling.
Yeah. It's the vibrational frequency that you're seeing or connecting to.
Yeah. Yeah. Your energy, it may tell someone around you that you're angry or elated or distraught or excited, even without you having to say a word. And I can actually say that's very true for my father. Because my father, he's very quiet. He doesn't talk. Mm-hmm. He doesn't express his emotions via words. And you walk into a room and you can just tell he's grumpy. You can just tell he's angry because it comes off of him. It radiates off of him. So whenever I think of somebody feeling something and like having the definition of like, you don't have to say a word, but you can tell what emotions the other person is feeling, I think of my father because it's what I grew up with. It's exactly what I grew up with knowing, oh, dad's not in a good mood. I'm going to go talk to mom, you know, or if I wanted to sleep over at my friend's house, I could just go into the room, stare at him maybe for a second. He'd be like, what? Or he'd be like, oh, what's up? Then I would know. But even without him having to say anything, I'd be like, oh, my dad is in a really bad mood. I'm going to go ask mom.
You know, there's that term called reading the room, which I think may be a person who is able to come into a room and read those vibes.
Yeah.
Get that feeling off the aura.
I'm definitely one of those people. I can definitely read the vibe of a person and a room.
Yeah.
Because my husband thinks I'm crazy sometimes because I'll walk into a room and I'm like, ooh, I do not like the energies in here. And he's just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this story or not before, but I think maybe I have, about the creepy neighbor down my neighborhood street. We had a lost dog run up to, like, my family had just gotten home, and this dog, big, beautiful dog, you could tell it was, like, lost for a little while because it was a little scrawny, had a collar, but nobody was answering the phone, and so I was like, oh, maybe it's somebody in my neighborhood. So I went around knocking on doors, asking people if they had lost their dog and if that was their dog, and I live in a relatively tiny neighborhood, so maybe like 20 houses, no more. And so I finally got down to like to the end of my neighborhood, and it was a family that I went to school with, like their children. I rode the bus with their children. Their children were also a little off, and they would make comments to me, and I was like, that's not normal. But I didn't really think anything of it until the day I took their dog, like, not their dog, the dog, down there to ask if it was theirs. I knocked on the door, and as soon as the door opened, it was their father and the man who lived there, and the energies that radiated out of that house and off that man, it made me so uncomfortable, and I was like, something is not right with this guy. And so I was like, I was like, is this your dog? He said no. I booked it. I was out of there, and ever since then, I haven't gone down to that side of the neighborhood.
Wow.
It was absolutely a disgusting feeling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an empath, and so I've always been able to sense people's feelings. It's actually exhausting to constantly be bombarded by all those feelings.
Yeah.
But I never actually had thought about it in terms of auras and making me feel that way, as in terms of the vibes being a part of their auras.
Yeah, I mean, I am also an empath, but I also have the ability to turn it off when I want, which is kind of like a sociopath type of thing.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like the way I grew up, my mother is also an empath, and so I could feel everything that she was feeling. So I just taught myself that I didn't want it. I said I didn't want it, and I knew that if I didn't figure out a way to switch it off, then I wouldn't be able to live my life the way I want. I'd be living it for others. So I just ended up switching it off. I figured out a way, and so sometimes I'll feel it come back on, and I just have to stand there for a second. I'm like, we aren't doing this, and I'll be able to turn it off, no problem, and then I won't feel a thing.
It can be overwhelming. I need alone time to recharge my own energy because I get so bogged down in other people's energies.
Yeah.
But I wonder if when I'm walking into the room and I get those insights, I wonder if it's because I've stepped into someone's aura or stepped through their aura, like walked through it. Ooh, I wonder if ghosts have auras.
See, that's interesting because when I think of an aura, and I know I'm more on the scientific side, our bodies radiate, like how I said in the quote earlier, we radiate very low level of electricity, a very low level, but we still radiate that and we live off of that as humans.
Mm-hmm.
Being dead, and let's say hypothetically there are ghosts, I don't think that it would be the same type of energy that radiates off of it because we are living. And so our bodies chemically are radiating that off. We are organic beings. So it makes sense that every living being on this planet radiates at their own low frequency. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that ghosts would in the way that we're thinking of it.
I don't know. We'll have to do an episode on ghosts and spirits and what that might mean. That might be more than a one topic.
Yeah, because like hypothetically, are there even ghosts to begin with?
Right.
So it's just something interesting to think about.
Yeah.
So another quote from Emma Milden, who is an author of the Soul Searcher's Handbook, who is like she's a spiritual activist.
Okay.
We're tapping into those frequencies that person is operating on. So in a way, the frequencies we are unsure is there, like aura wise, like we're unsure that auras, if you want to put it in a definition, exist, but we do have energies that we radiate. So if you want to put that into the definition of auras, then go ahead.
Right.
But it also says our frequency or vibe is what others can sense or what attracts or repels us from others depending on how that frequency works with theirs. So if you want to clump our frequencies into auras, which I could see...
I think that's a decent definition.
I could see doing that, but I could also see saying, our energies probably aren't something to like define because everybody's different.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like auras, but I can argue it both ways. Mm-hmm. And so listening to that, I thought it was really interesting. So my question is, does everyone have an aura? Mm-hmm. You know? And I would say yes, but I wouldn't say just people. I would say every living being, such as trees, flowers, animals, everything on this planet has its own energy field. I'm going to nerd out for a second because I was an astronomy major in college, and I still might go back and pursue some sort of education with astronomy. But as Earth as a whole, with every living being and how Earth operates itself, we as Earth radiate frequencies. Like we are nonstop pumping frequencies out into the universe.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's just what we are, is we are vibrations in this cosmic span of the universe. That's how I see Earth, and that's how I see people.
Yeah, I definitely feel like every living thing has this energy field. You know, I'll go for walks and sometimes I have to just stop and touch the trees because I can feel their energy. Maybe I'm a tree hugger.
Yeah. Well, I know you are.
But I've never thought of the trees as actually having auras. I just feel their energy.
And so if you want to put energies and auras together, then, yeah.
Well, I feel like magic is energy. Oh, does magic use your aura or the aura of nature? Ooh, what if somebody intentionally uses someone else's aura to cast magic? They would be like an aura vampire. Ooh, ooh. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking I just went off on a total tangent.
Yeah, that is very interesting to think about because when you think about, and I could go off of this, what is magic?
Yeah, I think it's energy, but where does it come from? Because I can feel it. And is it because I'm feeling it from people that have been in this area? Am I feeling it from the nature that is currently in this area? Am I feeling my own energy? Is it when I cast a spell with you, am I feeling the energy because you and I are together and our combined energies help make that spell?
Yeah. That's very interesting to think about.
Yeah.
And that should be something that we should talk about like further, like
Yeah.
what is magic and how it's perceived differently.
Yeah.
Like in cultures and everything.
That would be a great topic.
Yes, it would. Let us know. Some believe that the human energy field may be more complex than what we understand today. And also another quote, "We are all broadcasting like radio stations without even knowing it," says Lonsdale from previous quotes. And that is exactly what I just said on my scientific astronomy tangent.
That is just a weird thought. It's like we're walking communicators. That makes me think of Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty. I wonder if the people that don't communicate well are people who have blocked auras, or there's something wrong with their auras.
Maybe, but not. Okay, so I feel like, and we'll get into it, auras look different on everybody, like different colors. And I feel like if people can have different colors, I feel like, what about sociopaths? Like, what about the people who don't put off, and I mean, you could say sociopaths put off bad energy, but what about the people who don't put off those types of energies at all? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Does it necessarily have something to do with their aura? I have no idea.
Yeah, we talked about chakras last week and the communication auras, the throat chakra.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe it's the chakras that are blocked, not necessarily the aura. Although those things might be interrelated. And psychopaths often are able to communicate in ways that they don't feel. They mimic. They mimic.
Yeah.
So I wonder what their auras would look like.
I have no idea. And that would be something really interesting to look at. So that brings me the question, what does an aura look like?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Some feel that it depends on how you capture it. Because in the study of Lonsdale in her Radiant Human project that I was talking about, she captures it with a camera. And she captures the energy. And in a quote, she says, the camera uses hand sensors that pick up the energy field and like basically an algorithm to match the energy to a color. So another type of this photography called Kirlian photography. I know I did not say that right.
Kirlian?
Kirlian?
No, it's not Kirlian. Well, I don't know. I've heard of that, but I don't know.
It's believed to capture the aura as an egg-shaped circle around the physical body, which is, I feel like, where we get, like, where I get my idea of an aura.
Your concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, doing this research, I came across a blog, which we'll put in our links and stuff that we do. But I read that you can actually go and have your aura read. That you enter this tent and you sit on a stool and you place your hands on two sensors that read your body's electromagnetic energy. And then you sit facing the camera and you wait as the double exposure develops, and you hold your pose for a few seconds later, and then the film develops to show what your aura color is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know right now there's a TikTok trend going on where if you like zoom in on yourself, like of you in the mirror, and you put your camera up to it, you should be able to see your aura color. And I've seen a lot of things where
I want to try that.
I tried it, but I'm not sure if it's real. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not real. Like, it's not real. It's just like a fun trend. Mine was blue.
Blue. I would have thought yellow.
Yeah, I don't see myself as blue, but that doesn't mean I'm not blue.
Although this girl that I just was reading about, she was red. And she's like, I am not red. That's wrong. And so like a year later, she's like, I want to try it again. And it came out red. And as she talked to that seer, whoever the person interpreting her aura was, she learned more that red wasn't necessarily how she thought it to be, which I think later you'll go into what the different colors mean. But she came to terms with red not being what her connotation meant for red.
Yeah, and your aura, I feel, changes. The color
think so.
changes with however you're feeling. So if you're having, like, I go through really bad days, depressed days, I bet you my aura isn't as radiant on days as when I'm, like, the happiest that I could be. And or days where I feel confident and days where I don't feel confident, my energy is just different.
Yeah.
And so how do you see your aura? Like, physically, how could you see it?
Yeah.
And cameras like the one that Lonsdale uses in her art Radiant Human project is one way to see your aura. But if you don't have access to the special equipment, there are other things you may be able to do to sense the energies around your body. Some people, and this is a quote, some people are able to see their aura by softening and slightly squinting their eyes looking into the mirror, says Longo from... It's all a part of the website that I'm in. But it takes practice.
Yeah, I came across several articles about how to see an aura, and they all talked about that slightly squinting of the eyes. But I also I found that if you do those magic eye puzzles, that it helps hone your ability to see auras. You know what I'm talking about with the magic eye puzzles? You know that blue versus white dress? Remember that sensation that went through?
And I saw black and blue.
I don't remember what I saw. I don't remember now, but I just remember that different people saw different things.
Yeah.
It's like those optical illusion tests that you can look at. It teaches your eyes and your brain to look at things beyond just the first glance, which helps your eyes and your brain be open to seeing auras. So you can find a white or cream background, an empty wall would be good, and a place to sit in front of it. And then you can hold your hands in front of you with your fingertips lightly pressed together, like the steeples, not quite praying where the whole palm is together, but just your fingertips.
Yeah.
And then you stare at it in front of that wall, and then gently and slowly begin to pull your fingertips apart, and you look at the space in between your fingers, and you keep gazing upon that area, and you will eventually see a light or a color in between. And that is your aura.
Okay. Yeah. And so I have never tried it. So maybe after this, I'll go squint at myself in the mirror.
Well, you know how sometimes when you're staring at something for a long time and then you turn and look at a blank white wall, you see the shape.
Yeah.
It's similar to that, except for you're continuing to stare at your hand and seeing the color.
Okay. I could see that. So is it easier to see someone else's aura? And I would say it depends, because when you're trying to sense your own aura, you have the ability to focus and meditate and spend the time trying to engage your spiritual energy.
I can just see sitting here, you see someone at a cafe and all of a sudden you're just staring at them.
Oh, man, you would do that. You would do that.
And then they would be going, what the hell is wrong with this girl?
Yeah,
and I'd be going, I'm just trying to see your aura.
Yeah, they would book it out of there.
I would be arrested.
So you have almost no control over elements in another person. That's why it's easier to see your own than it is another person's. However, some people may have more pronounced auras, and this could make it easier for you to sense theirs before you're able to sense your own.
Interesting.
Yes. So why are there often several different colors in one aura?
Which I didn't know there were. I thought that, in my mind, I always thought that an aura was all one color. So this is interesting.
Yeah, me too. So each layer of your aura is said to be represented by a different color.
Like the chakra?
I feel like it's similar. It's very fitting that we did chakras last week and we're doing auras this week. Some believe that the way these colors vary and interact illustrate how emotionally, spiritually, and physically complex you are. For example, some layers may be brighter if you move more vibrant or have more energy. Some layers may be dull if you're under a great deal of stress, depressed, or physically ill.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. So something else to consider is like a lack of color isn't cause for concern.
It is not.
No.
Interesting.
Your aura is said to change over time, so colors may come and go. So, what do different colors mean?
Okay.
And the color of the aura reflects the physical, spiritual, and emotional health. The aura is a mix of colors, and a specific color dominates over at any point of time depending on the current state of your thoughts, your emotions, and your health. For instance, a dominant yellow indicates that you feel very energetic and alive, while red is an indication of deep-seated anger and negativity.
Now, see, because the girl that I was telling you about that went and had her auras read and found out that she was red, that's what she thought. This is a bad thing. It means anger. It's a negative thing.
Yeah.
And what she learned is that it isn't necessarily so. It's that you are passionate about something as opposed to it doesn't have to be a negative thing.
It doesn't have to be negative.
Right.
So the overview of all the aura colors for you personally, this is what they could mean, but it might also not pertain to you and you might still be that color. Like,
right.
you know, it's very finicky when you try to define a color.
Okay.
So you have orange, which is said to be outgoing and social, like you have a social personality, sensitive and forgiving. Yeah,
I've heard that orange is also you're independent and adventurous.
And I could see that too. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that there's any defined definition to go with a color. Like, I don't know. So yellow is high energy. It means that you're a great communicator and independent.
And I saw that it also means you're optimistic and confident.
Mm-hmm. Red is finding it hard to control anger, feeling unsafe, or you have inner strength.
Yeah, see, strength is a good thing, and passionate, like I said before.
Yeah. And green means you're generous and kind, feeling jealous or envious.
Or that you could be a healing person, and that you're very highly intelligent.
Mm-hmm. And purple means that you're intuitive and looking to the future, and you're wise and, also, again, intuitive. It has intuitive twice.
Yeah, and you're artistic, a leader, charismatic.
Mm-hmm. And gray means you're feeling disconnected and unable to let go.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I didn't find one on gray.
No?
Mm-mm.
Brown, which I don't think I've ever imagined a brown aura before.
That pig pen thing.
Okay, if you have a brown aura, just disregard whatever River says. Brown means pleasing to those who cannot reciprocate, which is lovely.
That is interesting, yeah.
White is living in balance and harmony, and I've also heard that white is the rarest color for an aura, and it means that you're highly intuitive.
I've heard that it means that you're a gifted healer and you like simplicity.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Black means that you're grieving and emotionally shattered with healing to come.
Okay.
So those were more like colors for your personality. Now I just have kind of like general interpretations by a shaman and practitioners. Like they suggest that this is what they mean.
Okay.
So again, there's no one set definition for the colors.
Yeah.
So red is well-grounded, energetic, strong-willed.
See, those are good things for the red. Yeah.
Orange is adventurous, thoughtful, and considerate.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow is creative, relaxed, and friendly. Green is social, communicator, and nurturing. Blue is intuitive, spiritual, and a free thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Indigo, which is kind of like a blue-purple.
Deep blue, yeah.
Deep blue.
Blue-purple is a good way.
I'm colorblind. Mm-hmm. So certain colors I can't see. So indigo to me, I clump it with the purples and browns because I can't see those.
It is a purple-blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious, spiritually connected, and gentle. And then violet, which I know is more of like a purple, is wise, intelligent, and independent.
Yeah, I read a story. It was very interesting. I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
There is this kid who, when they were young, they could see auras. And this is the story they said. When I was a child, everyone I saw had colors around them. Sometimes I'd tell my parents, I'm pink today. And they gave me funny looks and thought I was playing pretend. I could see a pink hue surrounding my body and my head when I looked in the mirror, and because I was pink on most days, it became my favorite color. Then I
Aw.
started Catholic school for pre-K. I thought everyone saw colors. When I saw someone with a vibrant and attractive color, I would light up and greet them. The brighter colors to me meant that they were a nice and loving person. One day, my teacher asked me why I was so friendly and hugged her so much, and I told her she was nice and that she was bright blue, like a turquoise color. She laughed and asked me what I meant. I told her that she had always been bright blue and explained the colors. But then I mentioned that our principal, who was the appointed pastor of our church, was brown. He was a white man who wore white or purple most days. He was never dirty and always smiled, but he was always surrounded with a brown hue. My teacher frowned at me and told me I was making it up. I was flabbergasted because I had never lied to her and didn't understand why she didn't believe me. She told me not to talk about the colors again, and I was put in timeout.
Aw.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts my heart because they were so excited
Yeah.
about being pink.
Yeah.
And like that was their color, and they were always so happy to meet somebody who had a bright color like them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sounds like something I don't like. I don't like that.
I read a lot about children being able to see and that they kind of grow out of it. Mm-hmm. Which, children are often the ones that can see the magic and believe in the magic and grow out of it.
Yeah.
So there may be something to children being able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe I associate everything from my childhood with colors that I can see. So I can see generally all the colors. I just can't see the darker colors like browns and purples and some navy blues and stuff. I can't really pick out which one is which. Mm-hmm. But all the other colors I can see. So I associate like growing up, I took social studies, which is sort of like a history. So history is green to me, and science is orange to me.
I'm color coordinated too.
Yeah, and so I feel like maybe there was something to do with that when I was younger. Maybe it could be. Maybe one of my history teachers that I had when I was younger was bright green, and so I just associated green with that subject.
Maybe so.
Or maybe not, So what does this color placement mean?
Mm-hmm.
So each layer of our aura is said to correspond to a different chakra.
Ah!
There it is.
There it is.
Chakras are different realms of energy within your body. Some layers or chakras may be more dominant, and others may be less visible or less sensed.
Oh, yeah. So we talked about all the colors last week. Mm-hmm. So the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, and the indigo.
Yes. And they're all the same. So if you want to go listen to those, check out our episode last week. And I'm going to jump into what do the different layers mean.
Okay.
So general interpretation should... I'm only drinking Diet Coke. General interpretation suggests the following. Physical, the laris, I don't know if I said that right, diminished while we're awake and replenished while we rest. It is located in our physical comforts of health as well as our five senses. Astral, this emotional layer emits our sensitive nature. It's where we provide self-love.
Did this article say what order the layers are?
No, and they are just in this layer that I'm reading them out now.
Or it may be that the order changes depending on what is stronger in you that day.
Yeah.
You might be more spiritual on one day than you are on another day.
Yeah, and you might have more self-love for yourself on one day.
Yeah, so maybe the order of the layers changes.
Yeah. Lower mental means your waking self uses this layer frequently because it's where reason and thought and patterns reside. You use this energy of this, the energy of this layer to work, study, focus, and execute your beliefs and values.
Okay.
With your higher mental in this layer, which serves as a bridge between the other layers, you connect your care to yourself to your care for others.
That kind of makes me think of the heart chakra because it was in between. It was the connection between the spiritual and the physical. Yeah. So I wonder if that's the same thing with this layer.
Yeah, maybe. And there is a spiritual level. So at this layer, you connect with other people over spiritual matters. You grow and shine brighter when you teach, share, and engage with others on a spiritual level. On the intuitional level, the celestial plane acts as your third eye, and it helps you see your dreams and be aware of your own intuition or instincts. And then absolute, the final oral
layer,
aura layer, acts as a net of sorts, keeping each of the individual layer confined and balanced in harmony.
Yeah, so I can definitely see the connection with the chakras that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like the third eye it was talking about, that I can definitely see how they're connected. Yeah. I wonder if the people that read the auras can connotate or denote the different order, like that lady that you were quoting about. Did she see the auras and layers with her camera, or did she say?
I just know that they say everyone's energy changes.
Okay.
It changes differently for everyone. There is no set formula, and that's a quote.
Okay.
And that is with, can your aura change over time? Mm-hmm. And that is yes.
Yeah.
So your emotions and experiences are said to have real-time impact on your aura. And that means that if your aura is like deemed low or deemed
to be dim or
it is likely that it won't stay like that forever.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. We remember in our palmistry episode where we learned that the lines on your hands change over time. It makes sense that your aura would change over time because we as people change over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the changing of your aura is not something that you do consciously, It's just how you go about your day or how you go about your life as younger to teen to it changes,
right?
Because you change as a person, and that's okay. You're supposed to change as a person. And so, is it possible for you to turn your aura off? No, because it's who you are. Well, it's what energies you put off into this world.
We're living beings. You can't without dying. Yeah. Although I wonder if ghosts can turn it back on again.
And again, with the ghosts.
It's a ghost day today.
And can you cleanse your aura? Yes, you may be able to, and you may be even able to repair your aura. Because...
Ooh, I never thought about an aura being broken.
Because, we talked about blocked chakras, and so maybe the aura being broken is like the types of energies that you're having problems with and you can't get out of this depression funk or whatever is going on in your life. Yes, I think that you can repair it to be able to become happier and put off happier energies.
Well, how do you do that?
So techniques that may be able to help are positive affirmations, meditation, visualization, smudging, energy balancing, and healing. And I've actually been looking at buying a journal because I feel like my emotions are all over the place right now. And so I think probably journaling about it will help me. And so I've been looking at purchasing a journal and doing positive affirmations and starting to meditate and starting to visualize what I want for the future and starting to cleanse my space and my thoughts and my body.
I like that idea. Yeah, I've actually, since last week's episode, I've been doing the chakra meditation again. Yeah. And I swear, I feel so much better.
I haven't started it yet. Yeah.
That's a weird thing to say because I'm not dirty, but I feel cleaner. I don't know how else to describe
River,
it.
you're dirty.
Yeah, pig pen with the aura.
That's you. That's why you keep seeing it. Pig pen with like the little flies flying around you. What if you can't see or feel anything at all with your aura? And sensing your aura takes time, and learning how to cleanse in quotations like cleanse is required, and you need to put time and effort into it. Yeah. As humans, this is another quote. As humans, we spend a lot of time on the physical aspects of ourselves, says Kadim Alston Roman, who is a wellness practitioner and self-described aura healing guru.
Wow, there's a healing guru. I mean, so there's enough broken auras out there that there needs to be a healer for it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
to me.
and it makes me question, because you have your auras, which are the energies that you produce, but you also have things that could show up, like childhood trauma or trauma now, or unhealthy relationship with yourself or a partner or a friend that could cause your energies to shift. And who's to say that therapy can't help you with that? Or so when do you know to go to an aura guru to help you?
I think therapy might actually also be working on your auras, because it's trying to correct your spiritual and mental self, which then might realign your aura. You know, if you go to therapy and you get better, then I think your aura gets better too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I would think so. So I'm just going to say the bottom line is the aura is seen as just one representation of this connection. It's not like there's no definition. Like you don't go, oh, an aura has to be this color, or only these colors. I feel like our understanding and being aware of our own aura can take time, as well as understanding other people's auras.
Well, and we're all individuals, like you said. So
Yes.
different people are going to need different things. It's just like with witchcraft in general, everybody is different.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
So we can't just put it in a box and say
Yeah.
that's what auras are.
Yeah, this is what it is, period.
Yeah. So that's all that I have
Okay.
on auras.
That's all that I've got too. I think that was a good episode.
Yeah.
That was fun. I would like us, and we can drag our hubbies too, which they probably wouldn't go. I would like to go have my aura read.
I would love that. And I would still love to go have my palms read. And I
Oh,
want
me
to
too.
have a tarot reading. I want to do a tarot reading. But yeah, so you guys can check us out on all of our social medias at C3 Witchy Podcast. You can also find us at our website, www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find our link to our merch and to our Patreon, where we have a couple things posted. We're trying to keep up with it. We've been doing a lot better with TikTok. I know River has been doing so much with TikTok. Like I haven't even touched TikTok once, and River's doing such a good job. We
Thank
both
you.
switch off with Instagram. And yeah, like everything is through our website. If you have any questions, email us, contact us, mostly through Instagram, because that seems to be our main platform right now. But if you want to contact us through Twitter, through TikTok, through anything, just let us know. And please let us know about anything that you want us to talk about, and you listen to it. Wow. And we'll talk about it, because now we have been starting to put out a monthly newsletter
Yeah.
where we list what we're going to talk about for that month. And so it's really exciting to be able to see if y'all react well with our newsletter. And you can subscribe to our website, because every month you will be emailed a newsletter, which is completely new. And we are so excited about it. And our last newsletter has our highlights from our trip last week. So that's also very exciting. And yeah.
Yeah, we should say thank you to Dragon Craft Creations at Etsy for our merch person. She actually says that she's got some more ideas for us, so be looking for more merch to show up on our site.
Yep.
And just speaking of our trip last week, there was this really cool grove that we came across. It felt magical. It was beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful, because they were trees that didn't look like they belonged there,
And
but it
there
also
was-
looked like they belonged there.
There was rocks in between. I mean, it was just magical.
It was perfectly set up, and it was on a day where it had just finished raining, and we, like River and I decided, we were like, we have to go do this, like hike up this mountain, because we weren't going to be able to have a chance, because obviously we would choose the worst week to take a vacation where it was just raining the whole time.
It was still fun.
It was amazing, but it was kind of foggy and mystical from like the heat coming off of like the ground. So it was just amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
Well, that's all I've got. Thank you guys for
yeah,
listening.
Thanks so much. See you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.